Welcome back, everybody. My name is Lucas, and this is my journey through Lambda School. So today is week 3, day 2 of Lambda School, and it was part 2 of JavaScript fundamentals. And today was dense. It was not easy. It was, as you can see here in the background, we went over closures, callback functions, and advanced array methods. If you had never been exposed to JavaScript before, this was pretty meaty material. It's highly abstract, it is not intuitive whatsoever, and there's some pretty fundamental concepts on how JavaScript works that makes these closures, callback functions, and these array methods actually function in a way that you can use them. And if you're not hyper familiar with this kind of stuff, it's very tough to kind of trudge through it. So today was tough on everybody, including myself. And I've had some experience with JavaScript before, so it wasn't as bad, but really getting them and making them intuitive is not easy whatsoever. So a lot of resources here today. Some new interesting things about the project on our build coming up next week that I'll kind of talk to you about as well, and as well as some progress on the job site project that I'm working on as well. With that, let's let's make like a function and invoke some curiosity. I can't even. All right, screw it. Let's just dive into this. So I'm gonna actually start here on Google's search for closures, because the actual definition from Wikipedia is probably actually decently explained once you actually understand what the heck a closure even is. So as it says here, a closure, also lexical closure or function closure, is a technique for implementing lexically scoped name binding in a language with first-class functions. Operationally, a closure is a record storing a function together with an environment. That last bit is the trick there to understanding closures. Now, I'm not going to even pretend like I know what closures actually are, but for the sake of this, knowing what a closure was and understanding how that functions no pun intended, is critical to actually understanding JavaScript. There was a document that I have to find it, but, well, I'll have to find it later. But anyway, it was basically stating that understanding how closures work could be a difference between $20,000 to $40,000 in your actual pay as a developer, simply because it's so fundamental to understanding how JavaScript is working under the hood. So with that, I'll show you some of the resources that we had here. There were resources on understanding JavaScript closures from Free Code Camp. This one is excellent, excellent, excellent. Highly, highly, highly recommend this one. As well as from javascriptissexy.com. Found out about that today, and I will be seeing you later. That was creepy. Also, there was understanding, again, JavaScript closures. This is a subject that I would highly recommend that you spend an hour or two diving into to really get a good understanding of what the heck is going on. If you combine that with some of the other videos that I've mentioned about understanding what JavaScript is doing, this will make a lot of sense. So the next piece was also, I think it was callbacks. So callbacks, you actually use them all the time, and that's kind of where some of these higher order functions on arrays that we use today, like map, filter, reduce, those are actually taking a callback function in the actual function declaration, which are probably not using that term correctly, but when map or .filter is called, you actually pass it a callback function in order for it to work. That's kind of the nature of it. So understanding how these callbacks are working under the hood really gave a good understanding on how I can actually use these in a day-to-day. So I'll actually go ahead and pull up what some of these project things look like. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of code that we worked on today, just so you can kind of see what this looks like. So I'll skip this first one, but one of the challenges was using, obviously, .map, .filter, .reduce, some pretty straightforward function calls in order to get the result of the challenge. So thankfully, like I said, I'd had some experience with this before, so it wasn't too terribly difficult. But when it came to some of the more creative challenges, it actually gets really complicated really quickly if you're not understanding what's happening under the hood. So, for instance, I had this example, and let me just show you what the data looks like. So the data looks like a list of objects. So it's an array of objects, with each object being a person with an email, shirt size, a company, and a donation for a fun run. So one of the challenges I was saying was like, well, the business needs to know how many shirts they need to order and how many of each size. So return that information in a new object. And so I chained .map and .reduce to give me back an object that I can look at. This actually took me a while to think through because, again, they're not the most intuitive functions. However, once you understand what's going on, reading through this is a lot easier to do, and understanding how it works is also a lot easier. So, for instance, this one. My mic keeps falling. Pissing me off. Sorry, my mic keeps falling. So, for instance, with this one, I wanted to group the runners by their company. But I also wanted this to be a partial application function. So this is where the nature of a closure can come into play, because my function is calling another function. And so because it's calling a function, I can store the function that's being called as a function itself. So you can see here, I'm calling groupable as the function group by. I'm passing it the array of runners as this object array as the first one. And that is a variable that is scoped within this function's accessibility to return it some additional information. Now, if that's super confusing for you, don't worry. I would recommend taking the time to go learn this. That's why they recommend doing as much JavaScript as you can beforehand, because this is not easy. Okay. Just wanted to show you what that looked like. So some other little tidbits here was actually figuring out how to filter out duplicates. I learned about set as a method, or as an object that is really an array of only unique values, which I thought was kind of interesting. So that was really easy to do. And then there were another great article on understanding how these map, filter, and reduce worked as well. So that was kind of it on the today side of it. Like I said, it was really dense. It was not easy at all. But with enough practice, hopefully I will be a lot better with it, and hopefully you, if you're looking into doing Lambda school, if you're currently even in Lambda school, hopefully this can help you understand how you can kind of go about tackling this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the next part that I wanted to show you. The fourth week of Lambda School, every month, is Build Week. Everybody in Lambda School gets together to work on a project. And this is the project list that's available. So everybody in Lambda School looks through all these projects and select the projects that they want to work on. And you'll get selected to be a part of a functional team. So I will be a part of a team that has someone from the cohort that was that's ahead of me, as well as the cohort that's 2 ahead of me, as well as the cohort that's 3 ahead of me. And we'll all come together, and even cross-discipline between some of the actual groups. So UI, UX designers, iOS developers, data scientists. We actually all come together into one team for a whole week to build out one of these projects. So I'm actually really, really excited to see how this goes. I won't tell you exactly what I've applied for. I'll tell you what it is I'll end up working on later. But nonetheless, tons of projects here. Tons and tons of projects. I've looked through each one of them. But these are all excellent projects to put on a portfolio that it doesn't even matter if they don't turn into anything. Being able to work on a team and say that you're working on a specific aspect of the team and how you contributed is going to make a world of difference for the portfolio that you're going to have. So this is actually something I'm really, really excited to. This is something I'm really excited about and look forward to working on here soon. For the last little update, I wanted to kind of update you guys on the job boards, allthejobsites.com. So I've had a Udemy course for probably a year now that I've just never actually finished going through. And it's Node with React, full stack web development with Stephen Grider. Excellent course director, educator, whatever you want to call him. I love the guy. He's extremely verbose, but he makes sure you understand what it is that you're getting into and what it is that you're doing. So currently going through that course, I'm hoping to be able to, before the end of August, actually have a live login and deployed application of all the job sites available for everybody. So we'll see where that goes, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm working ahead of time on doing authentication with Passport, databases with MongoDB, using Mongoose obviously as the library to communicate with the two. We'll get into some React with this. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of the course, but really I'm enjoying the process of filling in the gaps in my knowledge, and this is helping me kind of get the surface level knowledge so that I can dive deeper into the other stuff. But with that, that's all I've got for you guys today. That was probably a lot more than I was expecting to actually share with you. Hopefully this wasn't too terribly long. If you've enjoyed it, please go ahead and like it and subscribe. If you've got any comments, questions, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out, comment below, and I'll make any video that you're looking for. I'll answer any questions about Lambda School. So far, so good, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.